Revenge porn is a serious criminal offense and civil wrongdoing. While often associated with disgruntled ex-partners, it is frequently perpetrated by anonymous hackers and strangers who infiltrate private accounts to steal intimate content. When these files are leaked, the victim experience is defined by an immediate loss of autonomy. It is a profound violation that strips away the ability to choose who sees your most private moments. Because of how digital data is indexed, a single stolen image rarely stays on one site. It enters an infinite internet replication cycle, where the content is copied and mirrored across the web in seconds. This trafficking is fueled by dedicated, user-led exploitation sites. These platforms are designed specifically to encourage users to upload stolen content, rate the victims, and post lewd or crude comments. This process transforms a private image into a permanent, replicating weapon. The victim is forced into a state of constant digital surveillance, with no clear way to stop the spread. The harassment quickly moves from anonymous internet forums into the victim's physical reality. Perpetrators often escalate the abuse by sending direct links of the explicit content to the victim's family members, friends, and employers. An online mob then begins to multiply the content. They use tactics like superimposing the victim's face onto other explicit materials to create even more abusive imagery. Trolls take it further by doxing the victim, sharing their home address and phone numbers alongside fabricated stories and false accusations to destroy their reputation. These communities are self-sustaining. Users actively encourage one another to hunt for more private data, turning the harassment into a coordinated, crowdsourced campaign. The exposure of the image is the initial event, but the lasting devastation is imprisonment in an uncontrollable harassment ecosystem that follows. Victims often spend days in a desperate attempt to fix the problem themselves, submitting manual takedown requests to social media platforms and website hosts. These efforts are usually met with silence or automated robotic responses. While the victim waits for a person to review the report, the images continue to replicate. Reporting the crime to local police often leads to another dead end. Law enforcement faces significant technical hurdles. They often struggle to find enough digital evidence to directly link a specific anonymous defendant to the original distribution of the files. There's also a jurisdictional barrier. Local police lack the authority to force content removals on web servers that are hosted outside their national borders. Traditional authorities and tech platforms move on a localized timeline. Their processes are simply too slow to keep up with the borderless, instantaneous speed of internet harassment networks. This desperation makes victims targets for unaccountable online removal companies. These services often prey on fear and can actually make a victim's digital footprint worse by drawing more attention to the content. Effective defense requires understanding the nuances of the law. In the UK, for instance, a perpetrator does not have to share the image publicly to commit a crime. This is a silent defense. If someone shows a private image to the victim specifically to instill fear or extort them, they are committing an act of unlawful harassment. Standard defenses often fail because this abuse relies on complex digital networks. Stopping it requires specialized legal intervention that can navigate both the technology and the law. Cohen Solicitors are a specialized firm of internet law experts. They are specifically structured to bridge the gap between the speed of the web and the power of the law. They employ specialist internet law solicitors who can act as a private legal force. By bypassing the bureaucratic delays of standard reporting, they can often legally force platforms to take down images within minutes of being instructed. To solve the jurisdictional problems that stop the police, the firm utilizes a global network of associated internet attorneys. This network covers every state in the United States, allowing the firm to obtain court orders against offshore website operators that local authorities cannot reach. Their legal team also uses investigative methods to unmask anonymous trolls, ensuring that perpetrators are brought to justice, rather than remaining hidden behind a screen. These legal interventions provide long-term, legally binding solutions. They ensure that private details are removed from the internet and kept out of public legal documents to prevent further exposure. The internet is fast, but it is not above the law. Through these specific legal actions, victims can dismantle the harassment network and reclaim their digital autonomy.